be starting talking about stories. How many have had your kids ask you how old you are? Yeah, pretty much everybody. And it's hysterical, the responses they get. Well, how old do you think I am? Well, I think you're like really old. You're like 50.
Yeah.
I don't know that I even remember 50. Okay, so one day, Grandma happened to be running a casting studio in the forest. Okay, she called Mom, who ran a catering service in town, for lunch, and she wanted it delivered. So Mom called, of course, Little Red Riding Hood, who ran a delivery service in the little town. And sure enough, Little Red Riding Hood came around and got the basket and was getting ready to go. Now, this is a small town, so Little Red Riding Hood delivered everything by hand. Okay. Also, anybody that worked with her had to have the same uniform, the red cape and the red hat. Okay. So anyway, she went to Mom's catering service, got the basket, asked Mom where it's going, got the address, started off, and she took out her phone and she put in the address into her GPS and put it, and then she started to head off to the forest. And she walked and she walked and she walked, and a little bit down she goes, oh, her battery died. The cell phone was gone. So she was right at the edge of the forest, and where do I go? And luckily there were some woodmen right over there. And she said, guys, I've got to go to Grandma's and my phone died. Do you know how to get there? I said, not only do we know how to get there, but we know a shortcut, and you'll get there really quick. Oh, thank you. And they set her off. So she's calling it out. And a little bit further, she runs across this fellow that looked kind of familiar. Turned out to be one of her favorite actors, B.B. Wolf. And she said, hi, B.B., how are you? Said, where are you going? Hey, I'm going to Grandma's for an audition. Well, I'm going to be delivering lunch. Let's go together. So they go off together and off a little ways, and they get to Grandma's house. Actually, her studio. It's also her house. And Little Red Riding Hood puts down the basket, and she's getting ready to leave, but Grandma says, could you stay and help with the audition? Because I could use some help. And Little Red Riding Hood, well, you're the last delivery of the day. Sure, I'd be happy to. Well, it turns out that Grandma had two particular opportunities for B.B. Wolf. The first one was for the Great Wolf Lodge, which you may be familiar with, the ad, okay? And then the other one was the speaking part. And she turned to Little Red Riding Hood and she said, this is going to be for the Great Wolf Lodge. What you got to do is you got to hop onto the wolf's back, and then I'll tape you as you run back and forth. And so Little Red Riding Hood thought this was really cool. She jumped up and grabbed the fur, and B.B. Wolf went back and forth, back and forth. Okay, fine. Now the second part that he was auditioning for was a speaking part, okay? And Grandma turned to Little Red Riding Hood and said, could you read with him so that we could get to that? Oh, okay. And she handed the script, okay? So Little Red Riding Hood takes the script up, goes, oh, I got to top. This is a really key part of the story, because in the story that they're doing, it's a werewolf story, okay? And in this particular point, the heroine gets to see her friend turning into a werewolf for the very first time, okay? So that's the setting. So she picks up the script and she goes, ooh, your ears, they're getting so big. What is it? The better to hear you with, my dear. Ooh, your eyes, they're getting big and red, and the better to see you with, my dear. Ooh, your mouth, it's getting big and you've got big teeth. The better to bite you with. Cut! Grandma said, I got it. Good job. And told the wolf that he did a really good job on the audition, and she would be getting back to him. And they were all done, and Grandma says, you know, I've got a lot of food here. Why don't you guys stick around and have lunch with us? And so the three of them had lunch, and they just had a grand old time. Okay. Several weeks later, B.B. Wolf got a call from Grandma. He got both parts. Now, if you've seen the Great Wolf Lodge one that has the little kids, the gray wolf is him. Okay, he's got that one. And the werewolf movie is actually shooting right now. Okay, and should be out on Netflix probably next year sometime. But when you look at the credits and that, okay, he's not B.B. Wolf there. He uses his trade name, big bad wolf. I'm glad we had that. That was wins I get, by the way. Okay. Anyway, so the wolf did fine, and Grandma, before they left, said, you know, Little Red Riding Hood, you did really good on that. Would you like to be in the movies? Nah, my business is enough. And Grandma told all of her clients about the great food she got from Mom's catering service and the great service she got for delivery. And it turns out that Mom and Little Red Riding Hood had to hire more staff. Okay? And everybody lived happily ever after, except for the woodsmen, because they didn't get any lunch.